despite being down several key players on offense, you still had a season high in points and total yards. What does that say about, the group collectively?
Yeah, I think we found a good rhythm. Guys had a good feel for the plan and executed their jobs and really fed off of each other. I thought the energy, really the whole weekend was really good. From the time we got down there in the hotel to the locker room before the game to warm ups before the game, you felt like things were going to be right for us. And the guys played well.
Has anything changed, Zach, over the past couple of weeks offensively, whether it's preparation or a change in the guys or anything like that?
No, not at all. I mean, you can go game by game, and Dallas, we played well in the first half. We just fumbled the ball 3 times, and you take out those fumbles, and we were moving the ball and prepared to score points. And so, again, we see the things on the tape that we've been moving in the right direction. We've just shot ourselves in the foot lately, and yesterday we did a good job just executing the plays we needed to.
Is your confidence as a head coach and play caller at an all-time high, you think, right now?
No. I mean, we just attack each week. Each week's a new week, and you can't ride the highs of winning a game and ride the lows of losing a game. That's something you have to avoid. And obviously, you want to piggyback on the momentum in areas where that's possible. But for us, it's you put that game to bed, and now you're facing a whole new defense, whole new challenges, whole new fronts, whole new pressures, whole new coverages. And so you got to create this new plan and allow your guys to play with confidence.
With that said, Coach, the diversity and versatility you've shown in your offense, all the different schemes that your offense can attack in different ways. The Pittsburgh game did it one way. Houston game, you did it another way. Baltimore game, you have another way. What does it say about the versatility and diversity of your offense?
Well, I think that, again, our guys have done a great job executing what we've asked them to do. And on top of that, we played better complementary team football these last couple of weeks that have allowed us to be versatile. When the defense creates turnovers like they did 2 weeks ago and then one in the second half to win us the game, it allows us to call games on offense and defense the way you want to when you're right in the thick of it and not playing from behind like we've done so many times over the last 2 years, which alters the way you want to do it. So, again, it's just all 3 phases playing together that allow us to play the game we want to and execute the plan we have in place.
Coach, the Dolphins won 2 of their last 3 games to end the year last year and were able to carry that momentum into this year. Now they're in the thick of the playoff race. Can you envision that happening to the Bengals? And, what kind of impact can it have to finish this season strong?
I think it's important to finish the season strong. I can envision great things in store for us in the future. But again, we've got to dial in on this Sunday. We really cannot look beyond that because it's a big game for us, divisional game. They got the better of us this year on the road. And so our guys are going to be focused here this last week. And we can talk beyond that after the game. But right now our focus is on the Baltimore Ravens and putting our best foot forward there.
Coach, what do you look at in this Baltimore Raven game that you learned the last time you played them that should give you some insight, intel?
Well, obviously we had some key turnovers in that game. One, they returned for a touchdown that really broke the game open. We had a rough 3rd and 10 where they blitzed us and we threw a pick that led to points early in the game. So that was the key is just, handling some of the things they threw at us and avoiding disaster at times. And again, we've evolved so much as a team since that game. That felt so long ago. There's a lot of lessons we pulled from that for the weeks following. But I think our guys are in a good place, and they'll be ready on Sunday.
Thank you.
Zach, for you to see how y'all were able to win in 2 different ways with 2 different quarterbacks within the last 7 days, what's that do for you as a play caller moving forward? I mean, does it kind of encourage you saying, okay, all the things that I want to do as a play caller, all the things that I think this scheme can do, it can work? I mean, is that kind of what goes through your mind? I mean, how do you feel when you see what the offense has done?
No, I don't. I mean, we go back and watch every game so many times. And even this week, going back to watching plays from previous games and situations from previous games. And my confidence hasn't changed. It's there. Certainly each game brings something different and you might have to play it a little bit different way. But, all the things that I say to you guys over the course of the season, I have believed every step of the way. And obviously these wins help validate that a little bit. But for us, we're really unwavered in our approach and our scheme and how we want to do things. And Winning 2 games is great, but we feel like we've made good strides in a lot of areas, and the future's bright for this whole team.
Right. But is it maybe a different sense of gratification for you as a play caller because you see it how it should work, and sometimes something blows up in execution, but for it to go exactly the way you want it to go, I mean, is there an extra sense of gratification that comes when you do see it play out how you thought it would on the whiteboard?
No, because we've had these games where offensively we've had a lot of production, scored a lot of points, and lost by a 1-score game. And you could have easily said, had we had a turnover on defense at the end of those games, there's your validation. No, we called it the same way. We executed the same way. We just didn't come out to win. And plenty of times, Luke could say that on defense post-bye, where they did a lot of positive things on defense. And offensively, we weren't scoring points where they could say, hey, we had a great defensive performance. We got the win. So, for us, we have to see it how it is. And obviously, we want to win as many games as possible. That's the ultimate goal. But at the same time, we see the things that we've done, and we know that we just got to put it all together as a team. And when you do, things like the last 2 weeks happen, and we just got to continue that in week 17.
Zach, you said yesterday that winning 2 games in a row in the NFL is insignificant when you look at the big picture, but you said it was significant for your team.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's so significant for your team?
Just because all the work that these guys have put in, they need that result. You feel differently on Sunday evening and Monday morning. You need that feeling, because that feeling is kind of what get you through the grind of the season. And okay, all the things we did led us to a win, and so let's go piggyback on that. But in the grand scheme of things, we want to win the division. We want to go to the playoffs, win playoff games, and play for Super Bowls. And when you're a team that's in that position, winning 2 games in a row is not going to be a big deal for us. You're going to be wanting to win 5-6 games in a row to create that momentum. But right now, for where we're at as a team for this season, winning 2 games in a row is important. And again, we got to continue to build on that momentum going into this weekend.
Over the last month, we've been able to limit a lot of big plays defensively. That wasn't the case as much in the second half. How much of that do you chalk up to Deshaun Watson and his talent, and how much is it mistakes that you guys can fix this week?
Well, there's certainly some errors that we made, but at the same time, he's, production-wise, he's one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the league right now, and he's given fits to a lot of defenses. We could see that on tape, probably some of the problems he was going to pose. I think seeing him live and in person really for the first time for me, I thought he was a tremendous player before, and his stock has even gone up after seeing him in person. Just the way he competes, how accurate he is, how strong he is in the pocket. We knew that there's going to be challenges, and you just had to create that turnover at some point to turn the game, because once he gets hot, he gets real hot and becomes a real problem. And, this is a team that was just a couple plays away from competing for the AFC Championship last year. And he's the player that led him to do that. And he's still got that same playmaker mentality, and that hasn't changed with him. And he's a tremendous player, and he put us in some tough spots yesterday. But at the same time, there are some things that we need to clean up as well.
2 more minutes.
How much stress does a speedster like Brandon Cooks put on a defense?
Well, Brandon is a tremendous player. He's got great speed, but his details and his technique are really impressive as well. If you coach him to do it one way, he's going to do it that way to the nth degree, and just tremendous teaching and detail to the field. So I've got a lot of respect for Brandon, the way he does that. You combine that with a guy who's able to extend plays and put the ball anywhere in the field. I mean, the touchdown he threw to Brandon in the back pylon, I'm assuming that was the featured receiver seemed to be down the right sideline. And for him to reposition himself and throw it to the back pylon on the other side of the field on a throwback route, that's one of the most impressive throws I've ever seen. And I don't know if that was part of his progression or not, or just him being Superman on the play, but you combine those two together, and that creates a lot of stress on the defense.
That kind of coincidence or not, but you guys over the last 2 years are 4-0 in games that Fred Johnson started at tackle. Has he done enough to put himself in the mix for next year? Is it good for him to maybe stack what looks like probably 3 straight starts here to end the season to kind of evaluate that?
Fred's done some good things for us. And again, like all of our younger players, Fred's in his second year. We're looking for that consistency throughout the week, throughout the games. Fred has done a nice job for us in the opportunities that he's been called upon, and we're expecting big things from him this week as well.
Zach, it's week 17, Zach. It's week 17. The NFL has made it to this point without missing any games.
Yeah.
Do you consider it remarkable that the league has pulled this off? And what are some of the things you missed most this year about the normal way of life in the NFL?
Yeah, that's a great question. I looked back through my notes in July from our call with the league, and just the issues that we were dealing with at that time. If there's no way I probably would have thought we would have gotten every game in, to be quite honest with you. So where we're at is really impressive. I think the league and the teams have done a tremendous job handling it. The players, it's become part of their routine. They've done a great job handling it. What I miss the most is connecting with the players anywhere outside of the practice field. The team meetings on Zoom, all the meetings on Zoom, having to FaceTime, with players because you can't really meet with them in your office. All those things you miss tremendously. And I think our leaders on the team have done a great job trying to make up for that and keep this team connected in the locker room where they can. And again, it's, you hate calling the team up after practice and everyone's standing 50 yards from me and you're screaming. I'm usually hoarse at the end of practice because I'm trying to deliver a message and guys, can't get within 40 yards of me. And so you're screaming. And so those are the things that I can't wait to put behind us someday, hopefully sooner rather than later. But again, everyone's dealing with them. It's all about how you handle it. Our guys haven't complained. They've powered through it, and I applaud them for that.
Coach, when you look at your position coaches with so many players going down, you talk about them deserving the credit. I mean, Jackson goes out, and Erickson's in the slot, and then you've got Brandon Allen, and on and on and on and on, and yet all these guys come in and seem to play well, and it speaks to how they've been prepared to play next man up mentality.
Yeah, our coaches are really good teachers. I do believe that. And they do a great job communicating things with the players. And so when that next man is up, they've done a good job of staying on top of everybody in their position group, scout team players, practice squad players, because you never know when those guys are going to be up. And, just really do applaud the coaching staff for the job that they've done, keeping those guys ready to go.
Zach, you mentioned, obviously the goal one day is to win an AFC North title and compete for that. When you look at these last three games and you're able to beat the Steelers, and if you are able to beat the Ravens, does that give you a belief that you are closer than maybe other people say you are, or, you thought you might be earlier in the year when you're able to compete and beat the teams at the top of the standings?
Yeah, we really stay away from worrying about what other people think, and we go off our own eyes, and the work we put in. And we do believe that we can beat any team in this league if we put it all together. And, so again, this comes down to the divisional game versus a team that, we struggled with early in the year. So our guys are going to be prepared and focused. But again, we try to ignore that outside noise and just focus on the things that we can control.
I know Dan Horde and Tyler Dragon are trying to get in, so we'll have you guys finish it off.
Thank you. The impression, Coach, you don't spend a ton of time on social media, but Joe Burrow posted some video of himself walking the other day. Did you see it? Did anybody happen to show it to you? And if so, what was your reaction to seeing him kind of beginning the rehab process?
I saw it on TV, I believe, and we stay in touch with Joe. So Joe's a part of our weekly process, and so those are things that we've always talked about with him. He's in a great place. We enjoy speaking with him. Look forward to having him back when he does come back, and he's doing well in California.
How's William Jackson doing? Do you have an update on him?
He'll go through the protocol. Initially, I think it's pretty good. But he'll go through the protocol this week.
What about the weekly Joe Mixon update?
Yeah, I don't anticipate him being out there this week.
Okay, so he's
all right.
Out
all right. So let me get one in here because I think we've made it to week 17 of the Joe Mixon update. So I think, Zach, the big question is why not I guess what has kept him from not playing and keeping him on a week-to-week basis instead of saying, okay, why not rule him out earlier or just go ahead and say definitively he's out? What about this specifically made this a week-to-week situation and not a long-term situation where you were able to say maybe weeks ago, all right, we don't think Mixon's coming back this year?
It's a foot injury. It's not always cut and dry. You want to give him every opportunity that if he's able to play, let him play. If not, make sure that he's fully healthy before he gets ready to play. So it did us no advantage to rule him out for the season. Give him every opportunity to continue to work through it and get healthy. And at this point, it's week 17, and he's done a great job. He's done everything that's been asked of him to try to get healthy. But now you'll be able to turn his focus to next season and making sure he's ready for the spring. And but again, it's terrible for Joe because anybody that knows him knows how invested he is in this team, and he just wants to help the team win. And he's done everything he could. And Again, with a foot injury, you just want to make certain that it's fully healed. We don't do anything to compromise that process, and look forward to getting him back in the fold this spring.
All right, Coach, we kept you a long time. Thanks for hanging in with us, and we'll let you go.
You bet.
Happy New Year.
Thanks.